involved. True. And I personally find when Tate Donovan's involved in something, it's just more, I want to watch it more.
I would agree.
Sorry, what was the question again?
What do you think allows the show to stand out from other sort of suspense dramas?
Well, one thing is that it's not like, we're only shooting 15 episodes a year. So it's a little bit more like cable, where each episode doesn't resolve. It's sort of like the tension ratchets up until episode 15, and you sort of really don't know where it's going. It's sort of pretty much unlike when you guys see the. Has anyone seen the pilot?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, oh my God, what are they going to do with this? This is like a movie. This isn't, So you guys should just talk to those guys.
Questions for Tate?
Sure.
Your character is harboring a secret. How far along do we get to know what that secret is into the course of the series?
Oh, in the pilot you find out
Right away.
I'm not the best husband in the world.
Oh.
I want to apologize for that right off the bat. I'm sorry.
Tate, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit as an actor what the allure of a limited run series is, as opposed to knowing that you'll be in a show with security perhaps for 6 or 7 seasons.
Well, it's a lot more exciting, generally. I think a lot of actors are scared of being on a show and playing the same character for 6 or 7 years. And, this is, we get to go and we work intensely for, 5 months, and then we can go and do, all sorts of other different things, and it sort of doesn't take over your life. And usually, the writing, like 22 episodes, sometimes 24 episodes, it's really tough on production, on writers, to keep coming up with another story, blah, 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 so I think 15, that sort of cable model is what we're all sort of dreaming about.
You certainly have, through your career in the various shows, it seems to you have a good skill at playing off of really strong female characters, and it's your reactions and maybe things going on that we can read in your mind, that we can see in your eyes. Is that, do you find that a commonality in your work, or is that just coincidence?
I mean, to me, it's coincidence, but I guess it's kind of true. I have worked with some amazing female actors. But yeah, I don't know why that is. I guess you should meet my mom. She's a pretty powerful, great woman. So I'm used to being around.
You clearly must have a lot of personal secrets, and you're drawing upon them.
Totally. Yeah, but that is interesting. I've worked with. I think also television, is great for female, for female actresses. There's so many great characters on television shows that are women, and so many shows are based around women. So,
Tate, can you talk a little bit about working as part of being a cog in the Jeremy Bruckheimer machine, and what it's like working with that team of people? I mean, well established with their TV shows. They're very successful, but this show feels very different than anything they've already done. It's not procedural. It's I haven't really ever met him, so I guess maybe I truly am a cog. Thanks for bringing that up. I didn't mean that in a bad way.
No, but yeah, the big cog. I'm an interesting cog. No. Yeah, I mean, those guys are they're the most successful producers in television. And one day I hope to get to meet them.
On face value, the plot seems very straightforward. The bad guy says do this, or I'm going to do this. Are there other shades of gray storylines that come up as the series progresses?
It's funny you say that, because it doesn't seem straightforward to me at all. I mean, you saw sort of like what's going to come, and I wouldn't say that's too straightforward. But basically, yeah, there's a lot of every single person in the show is gonna be revealed to have a secret or something they're hiding, and that will come out. And one kind of fun thing that I just spoke to the producers about was they said that it's going to be incredibly rough, this whole thing on the family, and all their secrets come out. The kid is dealing drugs, my daughter's pregnant, I'm having an affair. She falls in love with her captor, a little Stockholm syndrome. And yet, by the end of this series, the family somehow will be closer and better because this pressure of being hostages somehow brings out all our lies and makes us a better family, which is totally inaccurate, but what are you gonna do?
We kind of touched on this actually in the last panel, but in the pilot, we think this dog is dead, and then it turns out that maybe the dog isn't dead by the end of it. Why do you think it is that people have such a strong reaction to doing things to animals but not people nowadays?
I know, it's really funny. In Damages, the pilot of Damages, it looked like I killed a dog, and for like 2 years, everyone's like, I can't believe your character killed a dog. Your character's terrible. And meanwhile, people are getting killed left, on the film. Yeah, it's, I don't know, killing a dog. I mean, you saw what happened on Game of Thrones on Sunday night, Sorry, did I just ruin something for Canada? It's just, I guess they're just innocent, and, we have unconditional love for our pets, unlike our television actors.
And the show's based on an Israeli format, correct?
Yeah, although they haven't ever. We were like, oh, we want to see the Israeli show, and they're just starting shooting too. Yeah. So we're in it together. Sure.
Oh, is the microphone going? We can talk, but no one else can hear. Is there a difference between you were on Damages and now, you were on the OC, you jump back and forth between kind of broadcast, primetime, and cable. Is there a difference now, or has kind of the gap been closed in terms of quality and just the way you shoot and everything about it? Like, this looks kind of like a cable show.
Yeah, there is a difference. When you shoot a cable show, my experience of shooting a cable show is that the producers are just completely left on their own. And when you shoot a network show, the network has a lot more say about what's happening in the show. But other than that, you're right. They're starting to fuse together. And certainly for CBS, Hostages is their first attempt at a shorter season and riskier sort of content. Characters that are gray, that are not heroes, bad guys. They're sort of mixed. So it's exciting to be part of a network show that's putting their feet in this sort of cable pool, as it were. It's not the best metaphor, but I'm sure you guys as writers will be able to jazz it up for me.
And not to linger on Damages or anything, but what was your reaction that the season when you started off dead, and did you know that was coming years in advance, or?
No, the producer called me and he said, "Hey, listen, we've got the storyline. We're going to kill your character, and la la la." And he told me, what they wanted to do, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's such a great story. I just wish it wasn't my character, because I loved working on that show." But I got to come back and direct a lot of episodes, and it worked out great. I love those guys. Those guys are, KZK are some of the best producers in television.
Great show.
But it was a bummer. My mother still does not talk to those guys. She can't believe it. Especially the way I died. I was put in a toilet. I was like, bro, this is a terrible way to die. And they're like, no, it's really memorable. The audience is going to like it. I'm like, I don't think so.
With this show, we can't not talk about the incredible other castmates you have. Let's talk about
who are they again?
this guy and this girl.
Yeah.
Tony and Dylan. Talk to me about working with them.
Yeah, well, Tony is a spectacular actress. I mean, she's just like so good, and Dylan is, you know, very intense, very. He's like, everyone's just really well cast in this thing. Yeah, I mean, so far we've only shot the pilot, but it's a very happy set, and you know, we have. I mean, as it always is when you're shooting a drama, the biggest challenge is not cracking up all the time because we're constantly making fun of, you know, and I the two actors who play my kids are hysterical, and we're constantly goofing around, and so a lot of those scenes just know that we are either laughing right as they said cut, or maybe even during.
That's good chemistry.
Yeah.
Final questions for Tate?
As well, unless somebody else has. As somebody who's worked on the OC and you're working with kids again, does it ever, as an adult, make you sad a little to see what sometimes can happen to child or younger actors, knowing like the pitfalls of Hollywood?
You know, it does make me sad. You know, basically, it's, you know, I started out, I was super young, you know, when I first started acting, and, you know, it's tough. It's so much tougher than you imagine. You can't help but, you know, if you become successful, just be slightly arrogant, because you just think, oh my God, this is how it's going to be. You know, I mean, this is just the ramp, you know, and I'm going to be a huge star. You just can't help but think that. And then, of course, you know, there are always peaks and valleys to your career. And, you know, some of the best things that's ever happened to me is failing miserably and not being able to get a job and having a year where I couldn't get a job. And so, you know, I don't feel sad when, you know, I see kids getting success and sort of behaving poorly, because I know that every single actor has to, you know, is going to have peaks and valleys, and they'll learn from it, just like I did, you know, the hard way.